Hello. hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Okay. I did a reset. I couldn't find you all for a minute. Okay. Mary H., thank you so much for being first. And let's go ahead and bring the. Oh, man. Didn't mean to do that again. Ooh. What am I doing here? Okay. Let's bring the slides up and we're good to go. Okay. Slides coming up. What the heck is that? That's take your time, take your time. What is it? Oh yes, got it. I got it. Okay. I'll move you over there. And go back over here. And bring up the slides. There we go. Come on, baby boomer. You could do it. There we go. Got it. VS speaks royally. Hello. Thank you so much for being here with us. I am deeply honored. Black Queen, thank you for being here. Brenda Gray, Myra V, Carol Lunn, Sussex Spotlight, Maria let me see, Timothy, or is it Timoth? Oh, interesting name. And also Jules Ryder is here. Amy Robinson, Karen Warner, Susie Q. Let me see. Some things, once you see it, you can't unsee it. You know what I mean? Let me see here. Patricia Smith, thank you for being here. Or am I just a weirdo? I think it's because I'm just a little bit of a weirdo. But as Moms Mabley would say, you ever notice how sometimes if you see somebody acting normal, you think something just ain't right with them? Well, that's me. If I ever start acting normal, just know that there's something probably deeply wrong with me. Okay, and there are the slides. Yes, there we go. Nigeria dress code. That of course is not the title of the video, but I just threw that in there. All right. Didn't have any money, so I married another old man. Older than his birthday, older than his mother. Santa Claus was his son. That's how old he was. And ugly. He was so ugly. Honest to goodness, he hurt my feelings. That's how ugly he was. Okay. All I have to do is get a shower cap. I don't have to worry about the part with the missing teeth. I've just about taken care of that. You know, that was Moms Mabley had the best budget for costumes in all of Hollywood. All she had to do was put on the shower cap and take her teeth out, and she was good to go. Yep, she was good to go. Moms Mabley. Let's see. Lakiva 1000. Thank you so much for being here. All right. So, moving on. Moving on. Oh, there's a birthday? Rodney Jackson's birthday. Well, happy birthday. There's no time like the present. All right. Well, let's do a birthday dance for Rodney Jackson. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, we can do that right now. Although I'm out of cookies, so I have no reason to run away from the computer. Um, Gave up my last cookie today. All right. Hmm. Oh, let me see. Oh, yes, there we go. Here we go. Hello, Ivy here. Hello, Ivy. Today is Lilibet Diana Mountbatten Windsor's birthday. Meet me at the Royal Sussex party. Church Nellie's gonna be there. All right, Ivy out. You know what? I have not come down from my high yet. As you know, I. All right. Well, happy birthday to you, Rodney Jackson, and many happy returns of the day. And let's give some applause for the birthday. Let's see, where is the applause? All right. Hip, hip, hooray, and hip, hip, hooray. Yes, he just graduated from high school. I think I shared that. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? One of the squaddies was nice enough to send it to me, and yep, and sure enough, he is a graduate. God bless. He is a graduate. Okay. Ah, is that it right there? No, that's not it. Yeah, but oh, and he also reenacted the scene from the video at a local restaurant or wherever they were celebrating his graduation. He stood in a chair and did his dance. It was very cool to see that. Wow, that is a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. I'm so happy for him. Okay. Okay, maybe it wasn't yesterday. I was looking to see if I could find him. And let me see, 26, 20, maybe it was the 24th. Maybe it was the 24th. Oh, no, that's the 25th. So must have been the 23rd. Huh. Okay, no worries. We will move on. I don't see it. But yeah, I feel like I know that kid. All right, so let's get on with it. So yesterday was, oh, by the way, thank you for the super chat, Lydia. Yesterday was pretty interesting. We're not going to get so into it today like we did yesterday, but Nigeria welcomes Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. That's how it started out. Well, really, it started with the announcement. And then with a short period of within a short period of time, too short for the royal rota to make arrangements. And plus, the Sussexes were very wise to hand select journalists to accompany them, which included People Magazine. Carolita Simone, thank you for the super sticker. And take a look there. So, well, as I feared, the Mirror picked up the story, and it's, you know, I didn't see any debate on the television or on the YouTube because some of them aren't allowed on television. But I guess I mean the YouTube. I haven't seen that debate yet. Maybe it won't happen. I hope it doesn't. If it has already, then maybe it's lost all of its juice by now. But um, I don't think it changes anything. The way most people feel about the trip to Nigeria, because the momentum of it has been tremendous, and I know that as far as social media is concerned, at least I've heard that as far as social media is concerned, for Nigerians, it's been a interesting topic. It's been a very hot topic, and there's a lot of conversation that's going on within the Nigerian community on the internet. And like today, I woke up and it was on Twitter, and yeah. So, um, but for the person who wrote in one of the comments that um, I forgot how it was worded, but in some way, that person was concerned that my feelings toward Nigeria has changed, but it has not. I cannot judge Nigeria based on the words of one person. I'm not even judging her. I thought it was reckless, and I thought it was inappropriate to insert Meghan's name in a conversation like that or in a statement like that. Unprepared remarks, by the way. But I can't really speak to the intentions that the first lady had because I don't know her enough to know how she feels about Meghan. I know what it looks like, but I don't know her enough to say for certain that it was one thing or the other. So I'm just gonna, you know, let it go. I'm gonna leave it alone, and I hope that I hope it wasn't what it looks like, what it appears to be. I just hope it's not. Um, but still, it gives talking points to the enemy, which is the Royal Rota and the tabloid media and such. So it does give talking points to the enemy. Um, I used to watch Bill Maher, and I stopped watching Bill Maher because on the one hand, I could say, hey, Bill Maher has always been very like minded, and it seems like we have a lot of things that are in alignment. However, his criticism of the Democrats always leave me feeling a bit high and dry because I feel like he only says negative things about the Democrat. He only has criticism for the Democrats, and he seems to speak up for the Republicans. Like, hey, they got their stuff together, they're cleaning your clock out. But he doesn't have any answers. He has a lot of questions, he has a lot of comments, but he doesn't have any answers. And it frustrates me because then what Bill Maher says become the talking points for the Republicans. This is the same Bill Maher who I believe gave $1 or $2 million to Barack Obama's campaign. So I think that speaks volumes for his political mindedness. However, every week he's destroying the Democrats and giving a uptick to the Republicans. So for me, I think he's very dangerous. And I try to tell people, please stop watching him because he's not helping, he's hurting. Doesn't matter whether he's wrong or right. It seems like he's rooting for the wrong team. And so in this instance, I'm thinking to myself, there's certain points of what she said that I think make a lot of sense until you put Meghan's name in it. And then, of course, it seemed like one could make the argument that I could hear like a whisper of anti-Americanism. It sounded like someone very elitist giving a big put down and using a blanketed statement to cover all of Hollywood. That was uncomfortable to hear. That was very uncomfortable to hear. And I was, guess what? Uncomfortable. It made me uncomfortable. It was triggering, to use some of the modern colloquiums. It was triggering. So, Leg says, personally, I think that her words may have been taken out of context. The Royal Rotas going after Nigeria didn't work. Now they want squatties to go after them. Yeah, the interpretation, unfortunately, there's a lot of gray area there. That's the problem, is there's a lot of gray area. So you cannot really say that 100% I know what the intention was. But I know what it sounds like too. The tone of it. The tone of it. It could be easily misunderstood, which makes it very inappropriate. Because again, whatever the First Lady feels about the US, or whatever she feels about Hollywood, about the idea of a Hollywood actress, not necessarily Meghan. Okay, I will admit, not necessarily Meghan, but in the same breath, it sounds very suspect. It's very sus, as they say. It sounds very suspect. So, but the good news is this is what they refer to as a teachable moment. Do better. Do better. Thank you so much for your comment. You got to do better. It's incumbent upon anyone who is in the public to do better, to be very measured with your words. Even though it's 2024, we're still not allowed to yell fire in a crowded theater. That'll get you in trouble. So even if you thought you saw something and you didn't, you could still get in trouble, because people don't know if you misunderstood or were you trying to create a panic. That's the gray area. Especially if there's absolutely no fire, then of course that's a gray area. So I'm really sorry it happened. So Meghan Markle slammed by Nigeria's first lady over stars flagrant, wait a minute, flaunting. Wait a minute, let me pull that down and see what it says. I don't care. Nakedness everywhere, right? Of course, the way this is worded is designed to sound horrible. Again, probably not what she meant. Probably not what she meant. But unfortunately, you can't unring a bell. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle visited Nigeria earlier this month, and it seems their trip is still causing a stir, with the Duchess of Sussex being slammed for outfit choices. Meghan Markle has been heavily criticized by the First Lady of Nigeria for flaunting her nakedness everywhere during her recent visit to the African country. Oh, God, this sounds awful. It sounds awful. And I don't think that that's what she meant. I think, in all likelihood, it was taken out of context. But regardless of that, look at what it's turned into. Look at the weapon that has been formed from that, from what appears to be unscripted remarks by someone in a position of authority. Let's see. The Duchess of Sussex spent 3 days in Nigeria earlier this month, where she was accompanied by her husband, Prince Harry. Actually, Harry was invited, but okay. for the Invictus Games. So yeah, I think it was more like she accompanied him, but they were both invited. So I guess it doesn't matter. Meghan made a number of outfit changes during the trip, and it seems her fashion was taken as an insult by First Lady Senator Alarimi Tinubu. See? Yeah. Let's see. That last sentence needs to be addressed by the First Lady because the racist British press will take on that for the next 4 days. Yes, I mean, whatever her intentions, this is it's painful. It's painful to read it, and you can't. It's hard to say that the person who wrote this article did not interpret this article the way they heard it because everybody is hearing something different. Everyone hears something different. And everyone has been trying to explain the intent. Everyone has been trying to decide whether it was taken out of context. Some of us have come to a conclusion. Some of us are not sure. And there are still some that, without a shadow of a doubt, that this was a critique of Meghan's fashion choices. Um, I believe it was Susie Q who said that she was shaken when she um, read it or heard it. And that was a lot of people's reaction. I just felt that queasy feeling in my stomach, like, oh, you know, I felt a little sick on the stomach. And even if I got it wrong, even if I totally don't understand, or it's a misunderstanding, or I have misjudged, or I haven't properly considered the context. The fact that it feels weird means that it probably should not have happened, right? Because if this would have been done properly, and whatever the context, the words were clumsy, right? If it was worded differently, or just leave Meghan's name out of it. And even if she did exclude Meghan's name, saying Hollywood actress nakedness, right? And this is not the Met Gala. Oh my God. I mean, you just stack those up and it feels bad. It feels bad. The Met Gala is an exercise of art. It is not nakedness for the sake of nakedness. It is a moment in the art community. And it is for the permanent collection of the costumes that are maintained and displayed by the Metropolitan Museum in New York. That's what it is. It's an annual event for the sake of it. So apparently that has not been communicated well to the greater public, because it seems as though the first lady assumes that it is nakedness for the sake of it rather than a fundraiser. But it's a fundraiser. Rohini says, even without her mentioning Meghan, she sounded like a. Oh my goodness. Oh man. Sorry, Rohini. Um, yeah. Yeah, it was strong language. It was strong language. It really was. And maybe the intention was to warn the young people, don't get ahead of yourself. Try not to be so grown. Um, you know, that sort of thing. Like, remember in the old days, they would say, keep this up. No, wait, keep your keep your undergarment up and your dress down. Remember how they used to say that back in the day? That was a cry for, you know, for celibacy, right? That's what they used to say. Keep this up and keep that down, and you have nothing to worry about. You don't want to do those things until your wedding night, that kind of situation. So I kind of think that's what the direction the conversation was going, was an outcry for modesty, right? So not exactly that, but it was just her way of saying, "Hey, exercise a little modesty. Be prideful in yourself." But the examples is when it went terribly wrong. So why the US after the Sussex visit? Why not the UK? Why not France? Why not Italy? Why did it have to be Hollywood? Why did it have to include the Met Gala, not the Cannes Film Festival, the Met Gala? It had to be those things. So, again, whatever her intentions were, if you handpick the Met Gala, actress, nakedness, and so on, who else are we supposed to think you're talking about? Who else are we supposed to think you're talking to? And then, as a way to end it all, you say, um, what did Meghan come to Nigeria looking for? She came to, and then also, this is what, all right, this is what I did not really hear the first couple times. You know, it is a very sore subject for Americans who don't know who they are and don't know where they come from. Do you understand what I'm saying? That seems like a dog whistle. That is definitely the tone of a dog whistle. You Americans, you African Americans, and did Meghan not say that as African Americans we tend to not know our roots? And it seems as though she was striking a note specifically about Americans not knowing where they're coming from. Again, I didn't hear it the first time. I didn't hear it the second time. But the third time, I was like, wait a effing minute. What is that supposed to mean? You see what I'm saying? There was a lot to unpack in so few words. There was a lot to unpack in so few words. Even if she did not mention Meghan by name, everything that led up to that is problematic. Everything. It seemed like a shopping list. I saw a shopping list. I got to get this off my chest. Leaves a bad taste in the mouth. Yeah, it leaves a bad taste in the mouth. It really does. Instead of getting a greater understanding by hearing it the second or third time, I'm more unsettled than I was before. Really. And I want to say to anyone from Africa, anyone from Nigeria, please don't feel the need to apologize or explain for the first lady. She's a grown woman, and she's the one who said those words, not the people of Nigeria. Okay? Not the people of Nigeria. There was an outpouring of love and kindness and generosity that means far more to me than anything that came out of the first lady's mouth. So there's no need to apologize, no need to explain, no need to um, try to filter anything for me. She does not speak for all of Nigeria. But it wasn't cool. It really wasn't cool. And the thing about it too is that what did Meghan come here looking for? Meghan was not on some pilgrimage. Meghan was invited along, well, Harry and Meghan were invited by the defense minister, Musa. That was it. Meghan had mentioned, what, over a year ago about her Nigerian roots, which is something that quite a few people of African descent in the United States share, is those Nigerian roots, right? The Bantu people. So many of us share those traits in our blood, in our DNA. So that's not a big surprise. So Exhibit A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Um, this is the offensive wardrobe. This is what caused alarm and offense. However, I spoke a bit about the possibility of a bit of jealousy, a bit of jealousy, because you have four kings that actually went out of their way to come to Lagos and present gifts, present names or titles to Meghan, right? Something they did not have to do, something that people repeatedly have said is rare. If I hear one more time, this never happens, that never happens, this never happens. When the Queen came to Nigeria, she went to them. They didn't come to her. How many times did I hear that? All right. So, just out of curiosity, and I didn't look it up, how many times have these kings gone out of their way for Nigeria's first lady? Is that the problem? Because they didn't go out of their way for her? Is that the problem? Like I said yesterday, maybe they heard Meghan's name one time too many. One time too many. And decided they needed to get something off their chest. Yeah, I mean, how could you miss it? It's if you get any information from the UK, from their media, from their news, everybody knows this. Everybody knows that Harry and Meghan stepped down from official royal duty because of the attacks from the media, because of the leaking and briefing from Harry's family. That is very common knowledge. And even if you only know just a hint of it, there's plenty reason to not go there. Plenty reason to not go there. Yeah, with everything else that was said, which was, on its own was very snarky, is closing it with Megan's name as though people couldn't understand where you were going in the first place. You had to close it with Megan's name. Megan's name was the closing remark. That was the closing remark. Megan did not deserve that. She did not deserve that. Again, this is what she wore. It if there was concern about what Megan was wearing, then go to Megan. It doesn't have to be part of a public address. Go to Megan. She was receptive enough to add some colors to her wardrobe. If you had a problem with something else, you should have gone to Megan. If there was a problem with something else, then she was available. She was there. I doubt if she would have turned down the first lady. Although Megan is from California, she was born in California. She was raised in California. She dresses California. Years ago, Patti LaBelle, I think she was on the Oprah Winfrey Show, and Patti said that her husband was listening to her perform. He wasn't watching it, he was listening to it. This is when she was married to her first husband. I think he was her first husband, the father of her son, I believe. And he heard the crowd really getting whooped up into a hysteria, right? They're screaming and hey, the usual when Patti performs. You guys have heard this story, right? And her husband said, please tell me that she didn't just kick her shoes off at the White House, right? And whoever it was said, yeah, she's roll it. Please tell me she's not rolling on the floor. She's rolling on the floor. She kicked her shoes off and she's rolling on the floor at the White House. I believe it was the White House. And her response to that story was, if they send for Patty, you're going to get Patty. Okay? So if you send for the California girl, you're going to get the California girl. Do you get the moral of that story? If you send for Patty, you're going to get Patty. If you send for the California girl, that's who's coming to the party. And if there's any concerns, address them in advance. Address those concerns in advance in a timely manner, not after the fact, not at a time and a place where it could cause embarrassment by giving fuel to the fire, by giving a weapon to the enemy. What people define as a Nigerian woman is brave, resilient, courageous, powerful, and beautiful. And it is the most flattering thing to be in that company. That's what Meghan had to say about the time that she spent there. Lovely compliment. I'm pretty sure she didn't know that down the pike there was going to be somebody coming around that curve with all of these colorful things to say. Now let's get to Her Majesty the Queen. This woman even has the supreme, has the supreme head of the English church traveled the world with bare shoulders and unclad arms in the 1950s, but she was not regarded as being vulgar or what is that? And indecently dressed. Was it because she was white or because she wore stolen jewels and utter show off? It's a good question, isn't it? She traveled the world, attended state dinners and other functions with bare shoulders. The bigger the situation, the less she wore. She's bearing her arms and wearing stolen jewels. And she was applauded for it. She was applauded for doing the foxtrot. So side by side, what's the problem? Really, what's the problem? I mean, I don't know what she wore when she visited Nigeria. Surely there was a state dinner. I don't know what she wore, but as the guy says, this is how she traveled the world. Uh, Joyce Anderson. Joyce Anderson. What I heard was Meghan's name. That's what I heard. I heard some things about nakedness, and then I heard Meghan's name. That's it. That's it. I think that's plenty. I think that's plenty. I heard nakedness, and then I heard Meghan's name. I heard Met Gala, and then I heard Meghan's name. The best thing that could have happened was just leave her name out of it. At least we would have a bit of a gray area that we could stay in, right? April Shower, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for being here tonight. Yes, I heard that. I heard that. I've heard plenty of them say that you should look at your daughter, that charity starts in the home, glass houses, and everything else. That's what I heard. I heard a lot of that. I heard a lot of that. Meghan know who she is, American with Nigerian roots. So by mentioning the 43% is just a way of embracing it, not going there looking for who she is. She know who she is. Thank you, Karen Warner. Thank you very much. Well said. Yes, Patty just turned 80. She just turned 80. Yeah, if that was an issue, if that was an issue, like I said, if somebody thought it was wise to mention, please wear some colors, then I'm pretty sure you could have said whatever else needed to be said in that moment. Well, I did hear someone today, Rohini, who said that, like so many other things that you will find in the former colonies, right? That the idea of beauty, the idea of modesty, and even a great deal of the laws, and even the way that the courts function, right down to wearing those wigs, which, we don't have a tradition of that in the US, but in other countries, I see people wearing those wigs in the courthouse. Now, that's the most bizarre thing to me, but I respect it because that is the custom of the, other countries. But it's also important to remember that that was something that was given or passed down from the colonizers, right? A lot of things that upset us are things that are not um what do you call it, is not a tradition that we were, that our ancestors were born with. It was something that was passed down. So there's a lot of things that was not a thing until the white folks showed up. And that's the truth. It wasn't a thing until the white people showed up. Carla Johnston, thank you so much for the super sticker. And Legs says, if the UK tabloids write it, then it is a lie. Thank you, Legs. Deborah says, before I speak it, I ask myself, is it true? Is it necessary? And is it kind? Very good. Very good. I like that. Yeah, a cultural misinterpretation of what she said. I am trying to see things on both sides, but I am not. But I am not appreciating is the Africans don't like African Americans. Yeah, I mean, it had a certain tone. It did. It had a certain tone to it. It had a certain tone to it. It kind of screamed, you know, anti-Americanism. It did. It had a tone of it. That was a tone of it. Met Gala, Hollywood actress, just do the bullet points. Um, and of course, nakedness, right? It if you just go off of the topics that were spoken, which does not tell the whole story, right? I will admit that it does not tell the whole story. But if you just take those few bullet points and you say, and what was she trying to say? You know what I'm saying? What was she trying to say? If you just had those few phrases and then you throw Meghan at the end of it, one would have to say, what is she trying to say? I mean, listen, I have traveled a lot. I've been a lot of places. I have hosted foreigners in my home. I have done my best to teach English language and the English culture to people who are struggling with it, right? And there's always misunderstandings. So I'm not oblivious to that. I just want to make that very clear. I've been around is what I'm trying to say. And I don't judge people based on a few words or that clearly is a misunderstanding. But the timing and the language that was used is very curious. I mean, you have to admit, whatever the context, the timing of it is very curious. So maybe it's not the words as much as it is the timing in conjunction with the wording. So, Kim Peaches says, I am 60 plus, grew up in the 1970s, and I remember going to university and asking African dance, and students from Africa thought it was quite funny how American blacks want to connect to roots. Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for being here. Thank you, Maggie Ward. Okay. Thank you for that. Yeah, Black Queen says, yes, the timing and the wording is highly suspect. And that's it. That's that's says a lot right there. Um there is always the possibility that something has been taken out of context. But the timing and the wording makes it that much more curious, right? It makes it that much more compelling is the timing of it. All of a sudden, you got something to get off your chest, not during dinner with your daughter, but publicly with a room full of people. And for those of you who have not seen her daughter, you owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself. Now, out of respect, I have not shared those because, I don't want to be the one to do that. There was plenty of that. And I don't want to drag her daughter like that because she's not part of this. So I'm going to leave her out of it. But likewise, you got to see it. You got to see it to believe it. You have to see who she's not talking to in comparison to who she has just spoken about. That's shocking. That's shocking. Yeah, that is shocking. It makes you look like a hypocrite if you go and have this public um clearing your throat publicly like that, right? You publicly throw out all of these soliloquies and such, all of this bantering about this and that, and yet your house seems out of order to me. And that's just at a glance. I don't know anything about that family, but it appears as though your house is out of order. And so, 2 weeks after a very successful tour, a 72-hour whirlwind, that's when you decide, you know what? There's something I need to get off my chest, and I'm going to do it right now. And it involves the Met Gala, American actresses, nakedness. Woo! Yes, all of those things. Now is the time. I got something to say, and now is the time. And I'm going to end it by asking each and every one of you, what did Meghan come here looking for? Why did she come here to Nigeria? Timing, timing. Timing like that is how people get pregnant. Bad timing. Okay. Here's a fun fact. There are whole villages in my parents' country where gorgeous women walk topless, but they have to cover their ankles under penalty of being branded a unscrupulous person. Wow. Well, back in 1900, in the Western civilized world, as we called it, for women to bare their ankles, even wearing hosiery, was unheard of. Remember Downton Abbey with all those long skirts and such? And then 20 years later, they're wearing the hair in the bob, and they're wearing these beaded gowns and such. Things changed a lot in just 20 years. Ooh, speech was tasteless and tacky. I said what I said. Well, thank you, Zed. Uh, Guga, thank you very much. Oh, Adriana, you went there. You went there. Oh my goodness. Okay, you guys, I got some other stuff that we're going to talk about. So I am going to finish up this topic and then move on because, oh my God, we've been at this for an hour. Was Meghan on a pilgrimage to Nigeria to find her roots, or was she? And by the way, these are the words of a squatty that I didn't want to link her account, but thank you for sharing this. Was she in Nigeria to find her roots, or was she invited to Nigeria on behalf of Invictus Games in Archwell? Madam is a politician and ex-senator. She knew mentioning Meghan's name in her speech would bring her attention. Tone deaf, tone deaf, absolutely. Learn to read the room. Um, all of the aunties that were in the company of Meghan, if they had an issue with that, nobody was holding them there. They could have walked away at any time. And yet she was surrounded by love, by gratitude. Gifts were exchanged. Um, there was a lot that happened in those 72 hours. Lisa Cook, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. So, you guys, listen, they may talk about this for the next couple days, but we are all here because of Harry and Meghan, because of the things that we share in common with them, because we saw a wrong and we wanted to right it. So at some point, we're going to have to put this to rest, um, and um, and we're going to move on from it. So I'm not saying that we won't talk about it tomorrow, but let's just see what happens. It's a national holiday here in the U.S. I don't know about the U.K. if you guys have a bank holiday or whatever, but let's see what happens when the usual suspects are on television and on their little raggedy shows. Let's see here. I don't understand what on earth. Where do we go from here? A great visit turned into a fiasco cause one ignorant person. Red Lady, first of all, thank you so much for the super chat. And I can only speak for myself. I have no ill feelings toward uh, anyone in Nigeria. The first lady, who I think is completely out of touch, I'm not angry with her. I don't know her. And because I'm not acquainted with her, it's difficult for me to be angry at people I don't know. Um, but was it out of touch? Yes. Did it have dog whistles? Very likely. Um, Anti-Americanism, I think I heard it. I think I heard some anti-Americanism, and I am very triggered by that. And I'm not triggered by it because I'm insecure about who I am. I'm triggered by it because I go out of my way to be respectful to each and every person I meet, regardless of their background. Each and every person I meet. And as I said, I have traveled a lot, and with everything that happened with Harry and Meghan, I've said it over and over again. The people of the United Kingdom do not deserve the type of media that has become the face of their nation, right? They don't deserve that because most people in the UK, they go to work, they go to the supermarket, they go to the pub, they stop at a Starbucks, whatever they do, and then they go home. And the next day they do it all over again. And none of that involves what Kate wore, what Meghan wore. We're in a bit of a bubble. We have things come up on our electronic devices day after day because it's what we follow. But to the greater society, most people are just not in tune with it. But I do believe most people know enough to know that Harry and Meghan ran for their lives, literally, and that same institution and those same dark forces that cost Diana her life are still there, still present and accounted for. And people who watched Harry grow up, people who saw him when he was a little kid, right now are saying the nastiest things about him, about his wife, and some of them don't care if they are alive or not. They don't care about the Sussex children. They have no respect for them. The same dark forces that targeted Diana, the tabloids, and of course, people within the institution, they're still there. And I do believe after the Oprah interview, after the docuseries, after the book Spare, even if you didn't read this or that or watch this or that, any intelligent person should know enough to know that something happened and they had to leave. Any person who is aware knows that Meghan is the topic of conversations that have nothing to do with her day after day, week after week, year after year. This has been going on for about, 8 years now? So the easiest thing to do to get attention is to say Meghan. The easiest thing to do to play it safe is don't say Meghan. I hope we can all agree on that. The easiest thing to do is leave Meghan's name out of it. Because if you bring up her name, I am going to assume that you want for attention. Unless you're giving her a compliment, or unless you're speaking about the Archwell Foundation or whatever. But if you're in the middle of some critique about the morals of society, and you're bringing up Meghan's name, and you're not speaking about the hell that she's been through with that institution, because let me tell you something. There are some people out there that covertly feel like Meghan got everything she had coming. She's mixed race. She's attractive. There's people that believe that she only became black because she married Harry. There are people that still believe that. There are people who think that she shunned her black family, even though we have dozens of photos of her with her grandmother, with her mother, with her aunts, with her cousins. That doesn't matter. And there are plenty of people, whether they're in the US or any other former colony, that believe everything that the tabloids say. And they say to themselves, she had it coming. She knew who she was marrying. She knew what she was getting into. Now, we don't know if the First Lady of Nigeria is one of those people. Because guess what? The first time I heard her speak about Meghan was yesterday? Day before yesterday? That's the first time I heard her speaking of Meghan. So I don't know what her intentions are. I just know what I heard. And I hope and I pray that I'm wrong. I pray that I'm wrong about that. Please let me be wrong. Please let me eat my words. Let me be wrong. I don't want to believe that someone in her position could be so malicious. I don't want to believe it. But until I know better, I know what I heard. I think it was ill-timed, and it was very effective. If it was attention that she wanted, attention she got. Good, bad, or indifferent, she got the attention that she was seeking from that speech. And all she had to do to make it memorable was to mention Rachel Meghan Markle. That's all she had to do. I can't tell you how many channels that when I go back and I look at the history of their channel, I see that they started out talking about pottery, or they started out talking about um, tarot cards, or whatever they were doing. And then, jackpot, they mentioned Meghan, and their fortunes have not been the same since. Okay? I've seen that. And so if I'm being overly sensitive, too bad. Sorry, but not sorry. I've seen too much of it. And someone in the public should know better. There's no way around it. She should have known better. But if it was attention she wanted, it's attention she got. Am I wrong about that? Please let me know if I got that part wrong. Thank you so much, Red Lady, and thank you for being a member. Raffaella Bertoni, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for being here. And Deborah Copeland says, thank you for keeping me sane. The comments of the Nigerian First Lady broke my heart. Deborah Copeland, I feel your pain. Honestly, I feel your pain because I'm troubled by it. I'm troubled by it. And anytime, as a Black person, anytime I see a Black person, as I like to say, certain things are Black folks' business. In a world where we have been villainized, certain things are just simply Black folks' business. It is not meant for the public. It's like talking about Black women's hair. It's better that Black women talk about Black women's hair because it has been used as a weapon against Black women for hundreds of years. So maybe it's not, what do you call it? Maybe it's not democratic to say, hey, maybe it's just not fair that you can talk about my hair, but I shouldn't talk about yours. No, you cannot. Leave my hair alone. Your hair hasn't been weaponized. Mine has. There's a difference. So the most compelling thing is when one Black woman discusses another Black woman. And for, let's say, GB News, they have a Black woman, Nana, who has said some of the nastiest things about Meghan. She rolls her eyes, she gasps, and it's all performative. It's all performative. I don't believe she feels most of what she says, but who is she doing that for? Who is her audience? Who's the target? What's her demographic? MAGA, Brexit. That's her demographic. And so knowing what it's like to be a woman of color, to be a Black woman, or even knowing what it's like to be a woman. Do you know how many times I have seen a royal reporter moaning about how unfair and unjust things are for a woman? Like, I'll give you a good example, Kate Middleton. And yet, those same people that have been dragging Meghan for years, all of a sudden, they expect us to back off, leave Kate alone. Kate's being bullied. You see what I'm saying? Now, let's make that worse. Let's make this a Black woman who has been bullied, badgered, and dragged. And let's say she loses a baby or she gets pregnant. She cannot possibly be pregnant. She did not lose a baby. If it was Kate, it's all true. But if it's the woman of color, it's a lie. It's a ploy. It's a trick. She's moaning. She's looking for sympathy. So I would say for the Black woman, if the only reason you need to strike out against another Black woman is to please a certain demographic of people that just don't want to see a Black woman succeed, maybe you should get another job. And as for the First Lady of Nigeria, timing is everything. Timing is everything. And the words just made it worse. The wording just made it worse. Thank you, Deborah Copeland. I mean, I'm so frustrated. I can feel my face is hot. That's how frustrated I am. I can feel my face is warm. I feel like I need to crank the air conditioner. That's what I'm feeling right now. Oh, is that what it was? No wonder she's hot. Well, listen, though, Meghan and Harry, when they went to South Africa, please let me know if I got this right, because they wanted to change the way they approached these royal tours, and that was officially a royal tour. Am I correct in that they actually went to the people before they went to the politicians? That they made it a point to talk to the charities, some of which they supported, the people on the ground. If I'm correct, I believe that is where the bulk of their time was spent. Just like with this trip to Nigeria, they went to Abuja before they went to Lagos. They went there first. The first thing off the plane wasn't it a daycare? Very different from most royal tours. Whether it's an official or not, they don't spend the bulk of their time dealing with the officials as much as they want to talk to the people. And even with all the stuff that they had on their plate, then we find out they went to a meeting we didn't even know about. Save the Children. And I said, how did they squeeze that in there? But they did. It was nothing that they just had to do. If they did half of what they were doing on that trip, it would have been plenty. But from the time they stepped off the plane to the time they got back on the plane to go home, they worked and worked and worked. You heard David Weissman say there was no downtime. Those ladies said, what'd you do for your downtime? There wasn't any. There wasn't any. But do you hear any praise on from the British media for that? No. No, there is no praise for that. Mabel Jones, you understand what I'm saying, don't you? Black folks' business. You understand what I'm saying? Red Lady says, I agree. I'm just tired of all the attacking for no reason. Just sick of it. Okay, I'm not going to do that. Just sick of it. A sister attacking a sister. I wanted to throw up. I understand. I absolutely understand. Um, okay, I'm going to try to say this without getting overly emotional, but I was looking for something with Doria, right? For a video I was making. And when I saw how small and how vulnerable she looked when those, I guess they were paparazzi, walked up to her SUV and I heard her voice for the first time, my hands were shaking. Because all I could think about was my own mother being set upon by paparazzi and what that would feel like. And the only thing that could have made that worse is if I thought for any reason that it was another black woman that caused that situation to happen. That's the only thing that could have made it worse. And so I'm not comparing that to what's just happened with the First Lady of Nigeria. But I'm saying when you see that vulnerability, it's one thing when it comes from outside the community, but it's a whole nother thing when it comes from inside of the community. That's when it's more painful. That makes it 100 times worse. You know, one of the things that I have just, casually have been observing is the element of colorism amongst people. That's something that I feel like should just be avoided. We shouldn't feed into it. We shouldn't judge each other based on it. But then I'm thinking, is any part of this colorism? Is this colorism? Is there some assumption that Meghan has some privilege that other people don't? Or let's say it's not that. Is it because Meghan is an American and she's an outsider coming here claiming her roots? And maybe that's a bone of contention. And that being said, if that it was the reason for it, we don't know what the reason for it. As far as we know, it could have just been taken out of context, or it could have been an element of hostility. We really don't know. There's only one person who knows where it falls. And so far, she ain't talking. And you know what? Maybe that's for the best. Maybe it's best we don't hear from her again. Maybe she said enough. Maybe she did exactly what she needed to do, and now she's done with it. Anyway, thank you, Red Lady. I appreciate your super chat. Barbara Richardson says, I honestly uh, believe that her husband and the president deny. Was that got a call from King Charles III that did this? She said nothing until British media complained about Meghan. There's always that possibility of some pressure from Kensington Palace. There are people that still react, that still dance to Kensington Palace's music, or should I say, Buckingham Palace's music. We suspect that Charles and Camilla have been putting pressure on the Biden administration, and we suspect that other people in other places may have also felt that pressure. And with the short notice of the trip, it wasn't a whole lot that they could do before the trip. But after the fact, it seems like they just started doing what they always do. Oh, Meghan and Harry was greeted by the owner of the airline who just so happens to XYZ, right? So who's to say it stopped there? Maybe this is part of it. Maybe. I hope not, but maybe. But the timing is breathtaking. The wording, very oddly inappropriate. Any of those things separately may not mean so much, but when you put them together, it turns into an article in the Mirror. I think too much of Meghan to ever want to hear somebody say that she's vulgar. And if there's someone who instigates that, so much the worse. And as a squatty, you guys know this. Every time they do something, we all hold our breath, wondering and waiting, when is the next shoe going to drop? That comes along with the territory. And we've all felt that. When is the next shoe going to drop? Well, this took 2 weeks. It took 2 weeks. And but for that speech, that wouldn't have happened. But it did. Meghan wasn't too vulgar for the kings to come and see her. They didn't look at Meghan and be like, oh, you know what? Change my mind. I'm going back to my palace. That didn't happen. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Look at that image right there. I refuse to allow anyone to ruin that for me. I refuse. I refuse. But I'm going to side eye. I'm going to side eye anyone that tries. That's going to be a side eye. Thank you again, Barbara Richardson. Oh, Deborah Anderson, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for being here tonight. And thank you for your very wise words earlier. Okay, and Leg says, at the end of the day, my memories of Nigeria will be the love Meghan and Harry experienced when they were there. I will not let the tabloids dampen it. Love you all. Thank you so much, Legs. And thank you for those wise words as well. Okay. Oh, Jeanette Embersley says she tried to mince words, but it didn't come off well. She knows Meghan's influence, which she obviously doesn't have. It was poor judgment to use Meghan's name, whether she hit or missed with the dressing. Thank you so much, Jeanette Embersley. And I agree. All of this could have been avoided by just not using her name. Yeah. Yeah. If she hadn't invoked Meghan's name, I doubt if anything she said would have left that room or the few people that watched the video. Now the video is viral. Now the video is viral. Such is the power of Meghan, which is something that no one should take lightly. No one should take that lightly, especially anyone who's in a position of authority. They should never take that lightly. Thank you so much for your comment. B. Martin says, hello, everyone out of the mix for the minute, but on this, I believe the First Lady was put on blast as to not highlighting the cause of the country on women's issues, and using our Duchess is just a way to relieve the pressure. Well, thank you so much, B. Martin. And thank you very much for being a member of Royal Sussex. Memberships are a bargain at just $4.99 each. Yeah. Which is why I hope and pray that our Duchess and our Duke become billionaires in their lifetime, because Lord knows there's a lot of people that get mileage off of them. And unfortunately, so much of it is for the worst possible reasons, the worst possible reasons. But again, when I look at some of those hate channels and I see where they started and I see where they are, you can just see from the numbers. All you got to do is just push popular, push first video, and then push popular. And then after that, please delete it off of your history so that it won't be suggested to other people like myself or any other squatty. Because if you watch it, they're going to assume that all of us want to see it. So that's why it's very important to erase those hate channels out of your history so that they won't feed into the algorithm that affects all of us. So very, very important. Please do that. All right, so we're going to move on to some other things. Some of it fun, I think, but let's leave this for another day. So we talked about this yesterday. I don't really need to do this again, but that's David Weissman He was very instrumental in bringing the Nigerian team to their first Invictus game. And there's JJ behind him, who is also with the foundation. And of course, you can see the text right there. It says, "Looks like I've been skipping arm day," which is his funny way of saying that that shrunken arm is not mine. That's actually a little girl's arm. But just for fun, he's pretending like that, that he, yeah, isn't he? I don't know why he's not in GQ. I don't know, because this guy know he can wear a suit. And also Derek, who is the guy next to him on the photo on the left, he also looks amazing in the suit. I mean, tell you that they could do they could probably do some catalog work, if not magazines. And then, of course, that's Johnny Mercer. I don't know why he sounds like he has an orchestra. Isn't there a Mercer orchestra, Mercer orchestra? But anyway, he's the veteran affairs for the UK, and he really wants them to bring the games to um, Birmingham. Now, this I did not talk about yesterday. Prince William and Prince William, the Prince of Wales, and Prince George are attending the Emirates FA Cup final between Manchester City and Manchester United at Wembley Stadium. And guess what? I don't think they got booed. Well, at least William. I don't think William got booed. He actually went out there on the pitch, which is what I think they call the grass. And I don't think he got booed this time. But if it was Liverpool, they would be dragging him from here to Harlem. But I think if it did happen, it wasn't audible. They didn't sing Lizzie in the Box or any of that stuff. Um, but yeah, so he got away unscathed. But poor George, poor George is in this system, and we don't mess with people's kids. Okay, the Sussex squad don't mess with people's kids. However, I'm looking at this kid and I'm just like, what is going on at home? What has this kid witnessed? Um, there were times when he smiled. There was times when he cheered, to be fair. But then there were times when he started twisting his mouth sideways as a way to soothe himself, or a display of tension, right? My words, nobody else's, but it just seemed like he has a lot going on. Poor kid. And whatever's going on with his mom, oh my God. For the sake of those kids, I hope that she can recover and be a full-time mother to those children, because in that institution, they're going to need all the nurturing that they can get. All the nurturing that they can get, because that institution just cranks out misery for everyone involved. And for the sake of power, for the family, for the institution, for the sake of power, they keep it going. They keep it going. And there's no reason to believe it's ever going to end. But if it does, it's seeing his face right here. And I don't think he's holding an electronic device. I think he's holding himself together. Um, yes, Josephine, it is heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking. But that is what the institution does. And there was a couple of times when William wasn't looking so good. Now, this is when he got booed. I believe it was in Liverpool. No, booed by Wembley crowd. But Liverpool, was it Liverpool that was playing? I don't remember. But he got booed last time, and it got ugly. It got ugly. This is what I want to show you, though. This is what I want to show you. Do you all remember what happened when Kate sat on the bench looking like an old Renaissance Jesus painting? Do you remember what they were saying after that, the press? Do you remember how they were trying to make us feel bad by saying, well, I'll let you just go ahead and tell me some of the stuff that they were saying about Kate and her confession and how we should feel about the things that we said and the things that were done. I'll let you go ahead and type those in there. But I'm going to move on and show you. Royal Pose, are you ashamed? Prince William was booed by crowd at the FA Cup final. Doesn't that sound just like, aren't you ashamed of the conspiracies that you have brought up about Kate's illness? That's the same language they use, that we should be ashamed. Aren't you sorry? You should be ashamed. Aren't you sorry? I saw that over and over again, one article after the other. They even tried to get Stephen Colbert to apologize, even though he didn't mention that. He talked about Rose. They tried to get Kim K to apologize, which I'm glad she didn't. But there were a few people that caved. And for the most part, the discussion is over with. Nobody's going to talk about it again until probably after Trooping the Colors. And even then, people are a little bit too afraid to bring it up. Lisa, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for being here tonight or this morning, whichever applies. Let's see. Baron, I won't believe anything is going to be right until we see Kate and Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis walking in front of Windsor Castle. Those children are being hidden because they know. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much again, Lisa, for the super sticker. But yeah, they know. They know something because we have not publicly seen those other two children since Christmas. Since Christmas. And we did see George. And what did we see of George? This is what we see. That's the George that we see. Not so different from his usual demeanor, but just to be fair, there were a few times when he cheered and applauded, but something doesn't feel right. Something doesn't feel right. Anger as the Liverpool Cup final fans boo William. See, I mean, they blanketed the media with that. Lex says they eventually changed the narrative and asked people if it was okay to boo the national anthem. They didn't want to focus on William's invisible contract. Oh, they didn't want to focus on William because of the invisible contract. Yes, Lex, that's exactly how it happened. At first, it was William, and then they changed it to the national anthem. Thank you so much for filling that in there because I lost track of that part of it. First, it was Willie, then it was the anthem. Aren't you sorry? Don't you feel bad? Aren't you ashamed? They said that over and over again. So, yes, that is quite accurate. Again, thank you. So, I'm going to move on to Kitty now. Royal Rift. Camilla didn't want William to marry pretty but dim Kate Middleton and urged Prince Charles to help her split them up, royal author claims. You guys, I know this is a tabloid, but certain things, if it were not true, a phone call would have been enough to change it. They've done it before, and for something that would otherwise make Camilla, the queen consort, look evil and malicious, they'd have changed it if it wasn't true. The thing is, Camilla is probably the one who leaked this. When the queen died, and even before the queen died, Kate was so full of herself. All of those articles that came from um, Carol Middleton, allegedly, Kensington Palace, possibly, saying that Kate is ready to be queen, William is ready to rule, ready to reign, all of those things. And look at Kate doing the evil villain face on the queen's funeral, right? Wonder how she's looking right now. I wonder what demeanor does she have at this moment, considering that the evil stepmother is bouncing all over the place. I did not know that Camilla had that much energy. Camilla has more energy today than she's had in the past 25 years. I have never seen her work so much and smiling while doing it, as though she has really dealt a blow to someone who was getting a little bit too big for the britches, someone who was trying to overshadow her, right? That's just what I think. Globe magazine. I know I shared it before. I'm going to share it again. The May 9th issue, 2013. Defiant Camilla, I will be queen. Pregnant Kate vows to stop her. Dying queen, too weak to fight back. And what is that? She already acting like Queen Camilla. I'm trying to figure out what part of that they got wrong. They were a little early with the queen, right? And I do believe that there was an effort by William and Kate to try to get around Charles, and it just didn't work. Day after day, week after week, they just kept pushing this narrative about Camilla. I'm sorry, about Kate and William being the future of the monarchy. As evident, the new king, king and queen, the mom who will be queen, the next queen. Okay? King and queen, the new king and queen preparing for the throne. Meet the new king and queen, Queen Kate, king and queen. Kate prepares to be queen. Royal mom, future queen. Take the throne. This is a campaign. This is a campaign. This wasn't just selling papers. This was a campaign. At the time, I said that there's one person who wants to make sure that she's alive to see Kate get on the throne. Carol Middleton. Carol Middleton, who is aging as we speak. I don't know what her health profile is, and I hope she makes it. I really do, because I don't know anybody who has done as much to get their mediocre child on that throne than Carol Middleton. It doesn't seem like it's going to happen, but I hope it does. I hope it does. I hope it's everything that she wants it to be, because she's been doing a lot of work behind the scenes, and I don't like any of them enough to say that I prefer one over the other, although I will say that for practical purposes, and as evil and malicious as Charles is, he's better than William, I'm sure. B. Martim says, why I have the need to make glue or weave. Thank you, B. Martim. I don't know. Could it be Camilla? Camilla. Oh, maybe that's the reason. Oh, wait, what was that? Move over, Kate. Camilla is the new queen of the high street. How Duchess of Cornwall is putting on the style and outshining even her most glamorous relatives. writes Jeannie Bond. Now listen, you guys. Jeannie Bond, Jeannie Bond is an operative of the palace. Jeannie Bond is the one that sat up there and lied and said that Diana gave Camilla the okay, that Diana understood. Do y'all remember she said that? That Diana understood. And Diana feels like Camilla had played the game and she's put her time in. That was Jeannie Bond. That Jeannie Bond who wrote this article. I have never known the names of so many journalists in my life, especially print journalists. Never. But I can look at an article sometimes, and before I even see the name, I'm just like, oh, I should have known. That's a Jeannie Bond right there. I wonder if she wrote that article where they said that Camilla's looking glamorous. Remember that one where they said her waist is cinched? Now, you know she needs some glasses, right? I think someone said she needs glasses. Absolutely. Anybody who says that Camilla's waist is cinched needs glasses. They expose what was already there, and they are trying to blame Meghan for their being exposed. The Reverend Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton said it on Good Morning Britain that they were angry because Meghan exposed them for who they are. So all of this hidden racism, all of these, what do you call it? These covert games that they have been playing with people, it has all been exposed. Camilla exposed as royal racist. Now, I had to put that there again because I was thinking about it. I looked at that article and I'm just like, if I was Camilla and I had a Jeannie Bond, I had a Robert Jobson, um, who else? Hoghead Pierce Morgan. Um, and of course, I'm chummy with Lord Nappyhead, the racially ambiguous owner of the Daily Mail, who doesn't live in the UK and never pays taxes. If I had all of these people at my beck and call, including Jeremy Clarkson, who, along with Hoghead Pierce Morgan, had dinner the night before he wrote that column. If I had all those people and I was the one being accused of being a racist, how much trouble would it be to come up with? And by the way, Rupert Murdoch owns the publishing company that mistakenly released the names of Charles and Kate Middleton as the royal racists. Let's not forget that. He owns that publishing company. So, with all of the connections that Camilla have, and this is all hypothetical, how difficult would it be to shift the branding of racism from me or racist from me to some dimwit? Didn't she say dimwit? Dim but pretty? How difficult would that be? And because she has been used, allegedly, possibly, by the evil stepmother, maybe that's why what already was a progressive illness just got worse. Because before Christmas, that heifer was a wreck. I mean, she was a wreck. She was a wreck. She was messed up. Willie Leaks was messed up. Even Charles was kind of messed up. But you know who wasn't messed up? Camilla, because everything was going her way. Everything continues to go her way. But when her luck runs out, and it will run out, I hope. I the fall is going to be epic. It is going to be epic. But so far, you guys, I know you don't want to hear this, but so far, she's winning. She is winning. She somehow made it where Charles left her in charge. She was a regent in all but name only. William disappeared. Kate has been gone for going on 6 months. And there was nobody left but Camilla. She was running it, you guys. She was running it. When she said she was going to be queen, she meant the queen, not consort, not a queen, the queen. And that's exactly what she did. That's exactly what she did. And as Harry said, um, you know, that what did he use the term bodies in the street? Or is that just what I heard? Sally says maybe First Lady needs a copy of the itinerary Meghan and Harry and Meghan undertook, which put Nigeria on the map. Even the fashion designers had sell out of their designs. Oh, and even with the itinerary that we saw, there was a couple of things that we didn't even know had happened. But yeah, and to be fair, Nigeria has been on the world stage and is considered the probably the most powerful nation in Africa, the largest army, all of that stuff, the biggest economy. So this was more or less icing on the cake. I'm going to be fair and say this was just like a little extra icing on the cake. But that's why it won't make much of a difference what this first lady said. This is going to blow over at some point, but I think everybody will come out of it wiser. And I hope that for the first lady, she'll be more careful in choosing her words. But thank you so much for your comment. And take a look at that. Take a look at that. If looks could kill, you know, I am of the opinion, that Willie has been compromised. He seems to favor his stepmother these days. And I'm going to tell you one reason why Kate may be a bit bothered. You know, that shade of blue is actually her color. Kate has worn several coat dresses. She has worn several coat dresses in that shade of blue. And yet, there's Camilla sporting that bright blue outfit. And I am sure that has not escaped Kate's notice. As a matter of fact, Kate probably mentioned it. And if not directly mentioned to Camilla, somehow she found out and decided that's what or it may have been a case of Camilla just telling her not to wear blue. And if you don't believe that's possible, Camilla said that no one is to wear a tiara at the coronation. No tiaras, no crowns. And traditionally, all of the lords and ladies don on um, their coronets, their crowns, and the ladies that are not well, the ladies of a house, they all wear their family tiaras. But thanks to Camilla, she was going to be the only pretty girl in the place, and nobody else was allowed to wear it. So when I say that Camilla probably sent word that Kate is not to wear blue, that's probably why Kate wasn't wearing one of her blue outfits. So, and maybe that's why Kate is giving her the evil eye, because blue is Kate's color. That is her color. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you one of the better examples of it. But she wears blue a lot, especially when she's imitating Meghan. And that shade of blue, that That is, Camilla never wears that. She never wears that, but she wore it that day. And she probably told Kate, you better not. And there is a pecking order. And I don't think that Camilla would hesitate to pull rank. I believe she did. And Kate was very upset by it. And the other thing is that I believe William listens to Camilla more these days than he listens to Kate. Okay, here's an example of it. Let me show you. That. Kate has worn this several times. The blue, she has worn that several times. Notice. Just a theory. Just a theory. And they know that these glances are going to make the papers. They know this. These glances are deliberate. They're not by chance, they're on purpose. Just like this one right here, the cat that ate the cream, or the cat that swallowed the canary. Either way you look at it, evil is as evil does. And sometimes I she will stop you. That's a face that would stop a truck. That is a face that would stop a truck. Seriously. You could have a truck bearing down on you, and then Camilla steps out a gangway and throws a look, and the truck would just crinkle up like a Dixie cup. Oh, yep. If this was the time period of Jack the Ripper, or if there was another Jack the Ripper, I would be like, Jacqueline the Ripper. Jacqueline. That's who it is. And then, of course, this pathetic moment, Duchess of Cornwall breaks down in tears after hearing women's stories of domestic abuse. Really? Really? Do you all see any tears? Because I don't. She pursed her lips. She's pinched her thigh. She probably had her hand in her pocket, just pinching and twisting the skin on her leg. Anything. She probably took a fork and was just gouging into her leg with it, trying to make a tear, and nothing came out. If anything, she probably laughed. One of the biggest abusers of them all, who has been very abusive to Diana. How ironic that Camilla would be a patron of a domestic abuse shelter. Remember, Kate glanced at William during the Invictus event. No, I don't remember that. You mean the first Invictus that they had? Because I did not see that. I did not see that. But if I can find it, I will. Probably not now. Probably be a bit too much, but I would like to see that. Thank you. Oh, Harry. Yes, yes. You know what? You know what? I got a bunch of those saved with Kate glancing at Harry. I got a bunch of those. Ooh, do I have a bunch of those? As a matter of fact, they are very handy. So I am going to get some of those out right now. They are very handy. As a matter of fact, they're not just handy, they're disturbing. They are disturbing. Give me just a second. They are disturbing. I'm just like, exactly what does she have on her mind? Let me see. One, two, three. Yep. I had just saved these today. Take a look. And William still had hair. Huh? Huh? And every time she slipped and said, Harry, hurry, that was probably another trampoline accident. That was probably another trampoline accident. I almost said the wrong thing. 2023 on the balcony, she looked scared of him. Huh. Okay. I'm going to have to try to find that one. 2023, they're on the balcony. But yes, what do you all think of this? And there's more. I got three more, but they'll be a little bit too difficult to find right now. But I do have at least three or four other suggestive looking photos. Do you think this is why William would not allow Harry over to the house? Remember, Harry said that oh, thank you, Legs, that he was not allowed to visit them. He didn't really see the place until he went over there with Meghan. He was in the living room with the Obamas there. And then he was able to really get a good look at the place when he and Meghan went there. But I do believe that is why William did not want Harry over there, because I believe Kate was overly fixated with all things Harry. Also, I have to say that even though Camilla is a big phony, and that pursing of the lips and that attempt to shed a tear was a big fat nothing burger, it did give us one of the most memorable images of Camilla that I will ever have. And that, of course, is Her Majesty the Silky Chicken. Charles, 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 Charles. Yes, Camilla the Silky Chicken. To that, I am grateful. Let me see. Well, thank you very much, B. Martin. There we go. And thank you for being a member. Yes, twins separated at birth. Ladies and gentlemen, the Silky Chickens. She stands with abusers because she is an abuser, allegedly. She is an abuser. And she is. She really is. This monster has been pulling the strings from behind the scenes for decades. For decades. And again, everything seems to go her way. Speaking of monsters, and speaking of twins, and I'm still convinced that Eamon Holmes and Sharon Osbourne are the same person. And considering the fact that he has been just as malicious, suggesting that someone needs to throw Harry over the balcony, and among other things, I believe, I believe that they could be the same person. And the reason why I say that is maybe Ruth Langsford didn't like didn't like the arrangements. Maybe Eamon didn't have the proper equipment or something. I don't know. I don't know. But I promise you, I mean, you cannot unsee it, can you? It's those cheekbones, it's the implanted chin, all of it. Even the hairline is the same. Even the hairline is the same. So maybe that's why there's been trouble in the marriage. Maybe that's why. And then, of course, there's the all about Eamon. No, whatever happened to Eamon Holmes? See it on the left, on the right side. Well, let me help you out. Whatever happened to Eamon Holmes? I've written a postcard to Daddy. Maybe that's why the marriage busted up. Maybe Eamon is getting that baby Jane treatment. You think so? You think Ruth may have fed him a rat? By the way, Eamon, did you know we have rats in the cellar? Hmm. Whatever it is, he had it coming. That's what he get for making those threats to Harry. See, the ancestors, it is the ancestors that is having their way. The ancestors are ripping out lashes, throwing people down steps. Didn't somebody else get a back injury? Right? And some things are just, oh, I'm not even going to go there with a couple of other people, but I think theirs is probably the most serious. But the ancestors have been having their way. Yep. You see, when the people that have been targeting Harry and Meghan, they have been having a rough time of it. They have been having a terrible time. Dan Wooten, YouTube. Hoghead, YouTube. Right? Um, and what's that Yankee Wally? Kicked off of YouTube. Kicked off. And the rest of them are living in constant fear. The rest of them are living in constant, even though they put on a good bluff, they're living in constant fear. Oh man. And of course, there's Hoghead there on the left side. There's Hoghead. Oh yes, I forgot shingles. Shingles. Didn't Eamon have a case of the shingles? Of all things, the shingles. Eamon has been, for lack of a better word, crippled. Eamon has had a case of the shingles. Isn't that a neurological thing or something? Or is that from a virus? Whatever it is. Don't you get that after like the mumps or measles or something? Whatever it is, he's a one man soap opera. He's in the disease of the month club. If there is an affliction, it's happened to Eamon Home. Eamon Holmes is a medical soap opera. All of those things. It's like somebody has a voodoo doll and they have been like poking and prodding it. They done threw it down the steps. And I don't know what his glucose level is, but if that shoots up, then you know somebody took that doll and just stuck it in a bowl of sugar and just started twisting it. Or maybe poured some maple syrup on it or something. Oh, it's from the chicken pox. Okay, thank you, Maggie. Oh, and thank you to was it mainly and Anastasia, thank you very much. Oh, and Corbin's ghost, thank you. Okay, I'm sorry, I missed all those. Oh, I didn't know they had a vaccine. Huh, okay. And you know, it's just, isn't it weird that some of the biggest Mm. I almost slipped and used a word that describes someone who thinks they're really tough, but they're very weak. It is too vulgar to say it. Um, but isn't it interesting that some of the biggest you know who's always taking photos like they boxing somebody, right? Like they so tough, like he's the man of the people or the you know ambiguous person of the people. Um, and yet somehow that tough guy right there ended up at the bottom of a staircase with one leg cocked up, right? That's how tough he is. Somehow he wound up at the bottom. Somehow he wound up at the bottom of a staircase with one leg cocked up in the air because he's so tough and rugged. And here's another one that's very tough. This one right here, Hoghead. He's always taking pictures like he ready to clobber somebody. He wasn't doing all that posing when Alex Beresford got to him, did he? When Alex Beresford uh, showed him who the alpha male was in the room, you ain't see all these displays of masculinity, right? Look at there. It's so bad that even Spitting Image had to have a go at him. Even Spitting Image decided that it was just too good to resist. Look the way he's standing up there like Mr. Bentley. I mean, a little Girl Scout could knock him down. What kind of fighting stance is that supposed to be? Somebody be to knock the stew out of him. All that tough talk. Hey, did you all see that video of the guy in the subway that snatched the hijab off that girl's head? And then the black girl got in his face and she's like, I'm a MA, what is it, a MMA trained. You don't want to F with me. And he's kept talking and kept talking. And then that big, tall black guy got in his face and started, talking to him. And the more he talked, the more this guy was backing up and backing up. He didn't want to have nothing to do with that brother. You see there? They're all tough until they realize they picking on the wrong person or they found somebody that they know will have them for supper. They all tough until that happened. Wasn't that funny? Right? Oh my God. I wish I could share that with you guys, but it was hilarious. He wasn't so tough then. And by the way, he did get arrested for being racist to that girl, but he snatched her cover off her head and he was selling all them wolf tickets until a bigger fish came along. The best thing that could happen is that the police showed up for his sake. Now, Washington Post downplays Prince Harry's allegations against Post CEO. A top Washington Post editor instructed editors Tuesday night not to promote a story about a controversy involving the paper's new CEO, Will Lewis. On Tuesday, a court in the United Kingdom ruled that Prince Harry could introduce new amendments in a lawsuit against Rupert Murdoch's News Corp over phone hacking, including one alleging that Lewis, then a News Corp executive, was involved in a plan to delete emails regarding the phone hacking after the scheme was revealed. The Washington Post published a detailed story about the ruling on Tuesday, noting Lewis' role and his denials of wrongdoing. So, in other words, everybody has to be on message now. No more talking about that stuff. But in the hours after the story was published, editors sought to downplay it. An email to some of the staff Tuesday evening, newsletter chief Elena Zach issued a brief directive with the subject line, "Don't distribute this story," linking Tuesday's development. "Please do not put this Prince Harry story in any of your newsletters," she wrote. The email contained no additional information explaining why the paper did not want the story included in this newsletter. A Post employee familiar with the situation told Semaphore after the story was published that Tuesday's email was a result of some internal miscommunication between editors. Post declined, the Post declined to explain what had happened, but provided a statement from managing editor, is it Matea Gold? The Washington Post is committed to covering this topic and all stories independently, rigorously, and fairly. We had routine discussions about the promotion of this piece across our platforms. So, just so you know, the Washington Post is very different from the New York Post. They're not the same. The Washington Post is owned by Jeff Bezos, who, of course, owns Amazon, who also sends rockets into space with people on them, who also has very high tech computers that the American intelligence agencies use. They use Amazon computers, among others. So, and in order to buy the paper and to have proximity to power, Jeff Bezos purchased the mansion in what I believe is the what is it, Ambassador's Row, or the consulate, not consulate, but the not the consulate, the the one that's bigger than the consulate. Wait, don't tell me the how did I forget that? The consulate is for the big cities, and the embassy, that's it, the embassy. I think he lives in Embassy Row. So there you go. And of course, on the right, you can see newly appointed Chief Executive Officer to the Washington Post, William John Lewis. Uh, uh, Billy Joe. Billy Joe Lewis, right? Billy Joe Lewis has just been named in court for allegedly something phone hacking. But yeah, so how interesting, huh? Oh, what a twisted web we weave. The Duke of Sussex and the Nigerian Chief of Defense Staff, Army General Christopher Musa. Just to remind you guys, this is the guy that invited the Sussexes to come to Nigeria. The general thanked Prince Harry for highlighting the sacrifices of Nigerian wounded service members. And so there they are while Harry was in Nigeria. And here's a close up of their exchange. Harry wearing the beads that he received when Meghan was made a Nigerian princess or two or three or four. And right here is Defense Minister Musa at the Invictus Games, Dusseldorf, where he and Harry got on very, very well. And also, he met his counterpart, the defense minister for Germany. So there's yet another situation where the Invictus Games has brought a lot of people together. And that's important that we remember that the Invictus Games is about bringing people together. The focus is on the wounded veterans and their families. Boris Pistorius, Federal Minister of Defense Germany, Bill Nelson, NASA Administrator, with Mohammed Bandura Abakar Khan, um, whatever that is, Defense Minister of Nigeria. So these are some photos that um, Sankara, he posted these because there was, of course, a delegation from Nigeria. So this is what one of the people in the delegation had posted. And I believe I shared those photos here. Yeah, those photos right there. And there on the right is yet another photo. And then you can see them at a conference table or lunch table or whatever. So these are the great memories that we have to hang on to instead of allowing those words to linger on the palate. We have to remember these things. Now, somebody bees in the trap. She bees in the trap. Nicki Minaj, she bees in the trap. I didn't get a chance to cover this because of, the other stuff. So she bees in the trap. Nicki Minaj arrested in Amsterdam for alleged marijuana possession. She bees in the trap. She bees in the trap. She bees in the pokey. She bees in the jail. Anyway, I think they let her off with a fine. So she's okay now. I'm pretty sure it was all just a big misunderstanding, but I could not resist Bees in the Trap. I hated that song. I thought it was the worst song ever. And so I knew at some point I was going to get a chance to get even with her for me having to listen to that song and not getting it out of my head. So this is my chance to strike back. And if there's anybody who has a way to get in touch with Nicki Minaj, please tell her that Royal Sussex says, please do not make horrible music that you cannot stop hearing. Otherwise, the next time I'm going to have to do something silly. Okay. And let's see. I'm still in my car. They took my luggage. Something said jet. They're trying to keep me from Manchester. Oh, it's a conspiracy, is it? This is Amsterdam, by the way, where weed is legal, right? And they try to make me look, I'm sorry, they try to make me book another jet every time, all because I fired management who I found out for years were adding 30 to 50K on my jet and pocketing it. I fired a tour manager recently who was doing the same thing and mad he got the boot. Their goal is to make me late to pocket 40K. Oh, does she get fined if she's late? Is that what it is? I'm on the jet alone. This is how they plant things in your luggage. Hmm. Okay, girl. Sound like rich people problems to me, but okay. Okay, thank you so much, Carmen. Let me see. I'm sorry. I am no love for Nikki. She came after Cardi and other women on the rise. I have seen her public attitude and it doesn't look nice. Yeah. There's a lot of people who cannot stand her. I fell out with her when she made the song Bees in the Trap. That's what got me. That is what got me was Bees in the Trap. I bees in the trap. I bees in the trap. I mean, girl, at least make an effort. At least make an effort. At least pretend like you're a recording artist and not just somebody who says little jingles and next thing you know, it's all over the place. I bees in a trap. Or is it I bees in entrapment? I bees in entrapment. They planted some things in my luggage and made me late for Manchester. I bees in entrapment. Anyway, that's enough about her. And speaking of bees in the trap, William has been trapped in what appears to be a loveless marriage for a long time. And like any bee, he had to go and find some pollen so that he could make some honey. And so Nicki Minaj is not the only one. I'm sorry. Yeah, Nicki Minaj. She's not the only one that bees in the trap. Willie Leak. Let me say, yeah, Willie Leak bees in the trap. He bees in the trap. And you guys be wondering, where is Barron? Why is he always late? Because of silly stuff like that. I bees in the trap. I bees in the trap. Oh, let me see. AW, thank you so much for the PayPal. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. You know, it wasn't complete without the antennas, right? All right. So, Harry's happy family. Harry's happy family, Princess Diana clan, backed the prince at his Invictus anniversary. You know, I kept trying to find the photos for the Invictus thing, and I could not find them. And then finally, I found them. The other day, Legs pointed out that Harry had such a great reception. And then, just to make it even better, the Spencer family showed up, his uncle, his aunt, his cousin, and a couple of his cousins, three or four cousins. And so, because of this show of family love and appreciation, then of course, Willie Leaks had to get his cousins and such. And as you can see, they are positively thrilled to be there. Rebecca English says, as the royal cousins technically support William, I'm sorry, touchingly support William, why Harry and Meghan are the reason they'll now never have a chance of a bigger role. Oh, God. Is this how you get people to read the article? See what I said? See what I said? So much has been said about the family disunity in recent years that it is sometimes easy to forget how well our senior royals got on with each other. They are remarkably close, in fact. Yeah, they are today because Harry is close to the Spencers. Standing side by side at the Buckingham Palace garden party yesterday, Prince William and his cousins added a welcome pop of youth glamour. Oh, um, a pop of youth glamour not seen in the institution for a little while, meaning not since Harry and Meghan left. How touching that the future king, knowing he would be without his wife at his side, could call on Zara, Peter, Beatrice, and Eugenie. And why did he do that? For a pop of youth glamour. They're popping youth glamour. I know it's kind of hard to see it, but they're popping youth glamour. See that? That's what you call youth glamour. William is popping some youth glamour, and Mary Poppins, also known as Zara the Tongue Ring Tyndall, She's popping some glamour. And then, of course, what appears to be Quakers or Mennonites or Amish women, that is Beatrice and Eugenie, and they, you know, popping glamour too, that youthful glamour. And then to complete the ensemble, there is Mike Tyndall looking like the lost piece of a Monopoly game. He's, popping off some of that youth glamour. Now, to the best of my knowledge, everybody is nearly or over 40. On a good day, they don't pop anything. But because of Harry's very dynamic appearance at the St. Paul's Cathedral, according to Rebecca English, they popping off that youthful glamour, right? It's just glamour's all over the place. I mean, it'd be different if I didn't see what they had on. Then I'd be like, oh, that's good. But I saw what they were wearing and I found them to be wanting, fashionably speaking. So I still don't get where the youthful glamour is, but well, if you guys have seen the way Rebecca English dress, then you know she don't recognize glamour at all. So, but yeah, so that's this right here is the royal family's secret weapon. One of many, I might add. They got so many secret. It's such a secret, you couldn't identify them. They have so many secret weapons, you could not possibly identify them. So this is another situation where um, the weapons are so secret, they're right in front of our eyes, and we don't even see it. Let me see. Okay. So it says here Prince William is hosting a Buckingham Palace garden party on behalf of the king this afternoon. And although there's little or no chance of them ever becoming official working royals, he invited, that is, his cousins Beatrice, Eugenie, Peter Phillips, Zara Tyndall, and Mike Tyndall. Why does the letter L keep popping up in front of me? The letter L. L, of course, for no, not lunatics. I was going to say losers. Let me see. So the sky is falling should be blamed on Harry and Meghan. I would just so you know, for the record, I was thinking losers, not lunatics. Well, they do look like a couple of Amish women, and I like I don't know which one I like because I don't know which is which, but I like one of them. And take a look here. Palace faces serious worries. This is new, by the way. Beatrice and Eugenie have gone to the dark side with Harry and Meghan. That's right. So they're building a case for why Beatrice and Eugenie will be present when they need them, but don't ever accuse them, or should I say, don't ever expect them to be considered full time working royals or even part time working royals. They're only going to show up when they're trying to show off or show up Harry and Meghan. That's it. They're just using them. But otherwise, they have no role to play in the institution except when they are called upon. When they send for them, then that's when they will make an appearance, which is just so shady, isn't it? That is really shady. And then in order to drive that point home, they have royal reporters reporting. Don't expect them to be doing anything else. Don't expect them to be working royals. Prince Harry and Meghan stepped down from royal duties back in 2020, but it seems that they are getting closer to royal cousins Beatrice and Eugenie. That's a bunch of nonsense. Harry and Meghan is only close to Eugenie. I think that's the one. They're not close to Beatrice. According to royal author, Kensington Palace has a serious concern for Beatrice and Eugenie are becoming increasingly close to Harry and Meghan. Yeah, when they're not hugging hoghead Piers Morgan. Prince Andrew's daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, have long been close to their cousin, Prince Harry. I wonder why. The reason why they have been close to Harry and not to William is because William brought that dimwit into the family, and everybody knows that Kate does not like Beatrice and Eugenie. And I'm sure the feeling is mutual. Now, that's what they're going to omit from this article. They're not going to mention the fact that Kate has been throwing shade at Beatrice and Eugenie since she showed up. The only person that Kate never fools around with is Afro Annie, because Afro Annie will brandish those knuckle dusters in a heartbeat. So she don't fool with Afro Annie, but she pulls her little pranks and jokes and stuff, and her little power trip. She pulling on everybody but Annie. Even what's her name? Um, Even Camilla has had the raft of Afro Annie. Camilla don't mess with Annie. Annie will put her in her place. So that's not a thing. According to the royal author, Kensington Palace has a serious concern. Oh, did I do that already? And now it has been claimed that there's a serious concern that the two princesses are getting even closer to the Sussexes. Prince Harry believes that his two cousins can sympathize with him. Now, how do they know what Harry's thinking? The most given his current situation and estrangement from his father and brother, according to the royal experts. Like I said, the whole point of this article is to have an excuse why Beatrice and Eugenie are not allowed to take a greater role. Now you can see right here, there's I don't know which is which. Y'all know which that is. I think that's Eugenie. That's Eugenie and Harry at the Super Bowl. Nobody knows exactly how much time they have spent together. I do believe that Harry and Meghan and the kids went to spend some time with them in Portugal, was it? Anyway, it was author Tom Quinn that said there is serious concerns at Kensington Palace. Prince Andrew's daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie, are becoming increasingly close to Harry and Meghan. Let me see. Beatrice and Eugenie are moving across to what one Kensington Palace official described as the dark side. Kensington Palace is the home of the Prince and Princess of Wales. No, it's one of their homes. And it has long been rumored and speculated that the Sussexes are estranged from the Waleses following their departure. Who doesn't know this? It ain't rumors and speculation. Oh, God, who wrote this article? Not only is this, but Prince Harry flew to London last month and announced he would not be meeting his father due to conflicting schedules. Mr. Quinn went on to add, still furious that their disgraced father, Prince Andrew, has been has not been rehabilitated. Beatrice and Eugenie feel like outcasts. They were always outcasts. Charles never wanted them to do anything. They have always been an outcast. This did not start because of any connection to Harry and Meghan. See how they rewrite the history? See how they rewrite stuff? Andrew, even before he got in trouble, Andrew had been pushing for a greater role for Beatrice and Eugenie. And Charles has consistently said no. Let me see. Comes almost 4 years after Harry and Meghan moved from Windsor in England to California. So, yeah, there's nothing really to this article. It is being used as an excuse why Beatrice and Eugenie will never have an expanded role. And of course, they want to blame Harry and Meghan for something that has been policy for quite some time. The slimmed down monarchy never included Beatrice and Eugenie. They're available for Trooping the Colors. They're available for, um, you know, things like the, um, what's that thing Charles probably won't survive to see for himself? Oh, yeah, that's right. The Jubilee. Charles may never have a jubilee. It's possible he may never have a jubilee. But if he does have a jubilee, Beatrice and Eugenie will be there. That's every 10 years, by the way. Shade. So yeah, this is all orchestrated to show a good reason or what they believe is a good explanation to give them nothing. Desiree says, "Hey, Baron and my squatty family, God forbid anything happens to either side. What does any of this craziness matter? Let them live their life and had them, let me see, life. You had them, you were jealous of them, you let them go." Here, here. Absolutely. Harry and Meghan were there and they were popping all that youthful energy and they got jealous. They ran them away, and now everything has fallen apart. This has all happened so much faster than I could have ever dreamt. This is all happening so much faster. If anybody would have told me that not one, but two members of the family would have been stricken with a life threatening illness, I wouldn't have believed it. And if I did have to say who it would be, I'd be like, poor Camilla. God, well, she always looked bad. Yeah, she always looked pretty po. I'm not surprised. But nope, Camilla seems to be the healthiest of them all. It's been Charles, who eats organically and who's always preaching about homegrown food, and the athletic, venerable Kate Middleton. Those are the two that have been stricken. I did not see that coming. Okay, now I mentioned secret weapons, didn't I? One of the squatties some time ago put this together, and I'm going to do my best to see what it says. But Tom Parker Bowles, the firm's new secret weapon. King Charles' secret weapon, Sophie Wessex, tipped to become the new Duchess of Edinburgh. The 19-year-old princess is, wait, let me pull this closer. Is the monarchy's new secret weapon. They're talking about Sophie's daughter, right? And then, of course, Camilla, the royal family's surprising best weapon. And then the Tatler says, "Rise and rise of the Countess of Wessex." Oh, okay. Kate at 40. Why the photographs prove she is still the palace's secret weapon. Sophie Wessex is the royal family's secret weapon. Lady Louisa Windsor, the monarchy's new secret weapon. And then it goes back to her mom. And then, of course, royal secret weapon, Zara, time to shine. Kate Middleton at 40, Weighty Katie, the royal family's secret weapon. Prince Harry was supposed to be William's secret weapon. When Will becomes king. Well, we know that ain't going to happen. And then how Kate Middleton became the royal family's secret weapon. Little Mia Tendo, oh God, not Mia. Little Mia Tendo could be secret weapon as Princess Anne's heads to Australia. Hold on, y'all. I'm almost done. Uh, why Prince George's school photos are the best weapon the royal family has in its fight for survival. Lady Louisa Windsor is royal family's secret weapon as Queen's granddaughter turns 18. Sophie, Countess of Wessex, shock Prince Andrew's wife dubbed as monarchy's secret weapon by former royal correspondent. Two more, you guys, two more. Kate Middleton is Queen's secret weapon used for calming down storms within family. I'm sorry, you guys. I went into brain lock. I had to think about how that is possible. But anyway, the monarchy's secret weapon, last but not least, the monarchy's secret weapon, Lady Louisa, has shunned the spotlight and taken a summer job at Garden Center. But Charlie Langston says it's the 18-year-old's time to shine. Okay, you guys, I'm done. Those are all the secret weapons that they have in their arsenal. I'm sure there's more. Like over here, Charles urged to send firm's secret weapon to deal with Prince Harry and Meghan. A royal commentator suggests there is only one senior working royal who can put an end to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's drama with the royal family once and for all. And you know who they're talking about, don't you? Y'all know who they're talking about. Okay, just in case, let me refresh your tea. Okay, you guys, I am parched right now. There's been so many secret weapons, my mouth got dry. They're so secret, nobody knows that they exist. Major Middleton, Britain's secret weapon. Oh, yeah, I forgot about her. Um, Kate Middleton, Major Middleton, Britain's secret weapon. That's right. Whether she's loading an M16, a 50 caliber rifle, or whether she's commanding a tank crew, Kate Middleton, the royal family's secret weapon, and also the fan of Lululemon's running yoga stretch pants. Yeah, she is the only person in all of the British military who is authorized to wear Lululemons while going through maneuvers with the rest of the crew. Yeah, they keep. Thank you, Rohini. Yeah, they keep telling their secrets. That's why. The whole point of a secret is that it's secret. Hey, Iris, they have forgotten about her. They have. They done forgot all about her. But don't worry, her family is at her side. I tell you, those are ominous words. The only time I ever hear that their family is with them, it's never good news. Okay, red carpet clash. We didn't get a chance to talk about this yesterday, but it appears that she has struck again. The very menacing security guard, the one that had Kelly Rowland so upset. Well, she has targeted an Asian woman, and she's also targeted this woman who happens to, I think, be Miss Dominica Republic or whatever she is. But yeah, I don't know why this woman still has a job. but they seem to let her get away with a lot. Um, but yeah, she's been wreaking havoc on the red carpet. Now, all she wanted to do was to have her train go up the steps. And yes, I'm sure some people may find this a bit, you know, tasteless or distasteful, but you know, fashion and art, I think it's pretty cool. I think it would have been nice to see this go up the steps as she planned, but every time she tried to go up the steps, they kept lifting up the train. So she finally got a chance to display it at the inside of the cans. Um, but still, that's not right. And I hope that they'll have like a backlash next year and that people will boycott. I doubt if that's going to happen, but one could only hope. But I think it was really poor form that they allow. Oh yes, birth family. Thank you so much. Her birth family. Her birth family. Thank you. Um, I'm just going to give you a little information that I meant to share the other day. I don't think I did. That is what happens during peak travel over the United States, just about any day of the week, especially Monday through Friday. There are thousands of flights all at the same time over the continental United States. I think this is probably the busiest skies anywhere. We don't have a good train system anymore. So when people go from town to town, you either drive or you fly. Very few people take the train. In Europe, the trains are excellent. But here, we have let our trains just disintegrate. And that's why there's so much air traffic over the United States. If you've never seen this before, this is what it looks like. It is a mess. It is a mess. Thousands. I think the peak is like what, 4,000 flights? 4,000 flights. Could you imagine that? Also, I'm going to give you another factoid. Check that out. The United States has more airports than any country on earth. The United States, followed by Brazil. The United States has 13,513 airports with a population of 330 or 40 million people. Brazil has 4,093 airports. And this was a surprise. Mexico has 1,714 airports. Canada, that's kind of a surprise because Canada's population in, concerned in regards to their land mass is not so big, but yet they have 1,467 airports. Russia, 1,218. And then all the rest of them are under 1,000, all the way to Sweden, which has 231 airports. Amazing. I'm just really shocked that Brazil is in second place, but it is a nation of 200 million people. It is a wealthy nation, and they do not have a large railroad infrastructure. So that is one of the easiest ways to get around is to fly, and they depend on that a lot. So Jamaica has 3 airports. Really? Oh, Iris, that's great. I wish more people took trains. I wish we had more trains. Our trains are notoriously slow, and that's because Amtrak do not own the tracks. Very few of the tracks Amtrak actually owns. So they have to give the right of way to freight. They're using freight lines, some of which are over 100 years old. This is a photo that I took at the airport. And here's another Oh, actually, no, I only used that one airport photo. This is one of my favorite photos. So I'm almost done, you guys. If you need to get your sleep on, go ahead. I'm going to finish up. Yesterday was Africa Day. And so I'm going to finish up with some African art like this Mother Africa by Robin Canstein. Mother Africa, representing the cradle of life to all humanity, Africa, where humanity was born. Yes, Africa, Mother Earth. That is where all the races, all of humanity, regardless of your race or ethnicity, we are all Africans. And this, of course, is the ancestors that have been throwing people down the steps, um, taking people's jobs, giving them shingles. Those are the ancestors. Yeah. Those are the people from the spirit realm that has saw a wrong and decided to right it. They saw the enemy and decided to fight it. So again, that's the ancestors. And I don't know what this one is. This I When I like photos, I just collect them. And this, of course, I shared that with you guys before. Well, since Meghan and Harry, now you see, guys, this is why I am not going to let the first lady bother me. I didn't know anything before Harry and Meghan went to Nigeria. Well, should I say I knew very little. Create a highly detailed 3D rendering of two ceremonial bronze sculptures inspired by the Benin Kingdom. The sculptures should depict a royal couple from the 16th century with intricate traditional attire. The king should be adorned with a regal coral bead crown and a high ornate headdress carrying a ceremonial staff. His face should have dignified scarification marks. The queen should have a coral bead tiara and hair styled in a royal Benin fashion with multiple layers of coral beads on her neck and bronze shawl over her shoulders. Both should exhibit a serene and powerful demeanor against a simple textured background with lighting that enhance the metallic bronze sheen. So, what I learned is the significance of the beads. I didn't know that the coral beads were such a big deal in Nigeria until Harry and Meghan. So that was the big thing that I learned. So now when I look at this, it means that much more to me. And then, of course, there's these ladies. I don't know who the photographer is, but they've done some great work. I guess I could do a photo search, but um, there you go. Yes, their shoulders are showing CK. But yeah, these are lovely. Kind of looks like what's the name? Sade, young Sade. Uh-oh. And then there's this one. I believe this was inspired by the Maasai tribe. And of course, you all seen this one before. Know your history. And Miss World Uganda. Miss World Uganda. So again, I am done, you guys. I'm just sharing these that I meant to share yesterday. So I'm going to share them today to celebrate um, Africa Day, which was yesterday. And then there's this lovely abstract. Uh-oh. And then of course, oh, wait a minute. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm doing the wrong screen. I'm so sorry. I'm doing the wrong screen. Okay. I'm just sitting up here looking at the other screen. I got the bigger screen so I can see what I'm reading. I am so sorry. Anyway, these are the photos. I don't know who the artist is. And he also or she also created this one. Kind of looks like Sade. And then this one. Yeah, sorry about that, you guys. I was forwarding the wrong screen. And then, of course, this is the one that I believe was inspired by the Maasai tribe. What's that? I'm making a pilgrimage to Ethiopia. They have a Bible thus a year older than one that came from that island. I am interested in our original religion from a country that has never been colonized. Oh, excellent. Excellent. I am so happy for you. And of course, know your history. I've shared this before. Amen to that. Thank you, Lady T. And Miss Uganda, Miss World Uganda. Um, Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And this is the abstract that I mentioned. You could just barely see the artist's name there, but I don't know what it says. You guys, I always tell you this. I'm going to say it again. If there's artwork that you like, buy it, put it in your home. And if you can't afford to buy it, just save it like I do. It is so relaxing. And when you're feeling stressed or whatever, you can go and find that artwork and you could just relax, drink a cup of tea or something like that, and just pretend like you're walking through an art gallery. There's so much beauty in this world. Why get all bogged down with hostility and misdeeds and hatred when there's so much beauty all around us? Everyone should have art in their homes. Buy a sculpture, just get what you like. Don't care what other people think about it. Just get the stuff that you like. And these two, it's amazing because the lady on the left, she looks so much like the baby panther or puma that she's holding, jaguar. They look so much alike. That is very cool. And of course, this one right here. I don't know if this, no, I think there is an art, but this is probably digital art. I do believe this is digital art. Oh, that's wonderful. That is wonderful. I remember I used to live near an African store and I used to go in there all the time. I forgot I think I bought incense or whatever, but I used to just like to go in there and look at stuff. I think I did buy like a couple of little sculptures or something like that. But I used to go in there all the time because I just love the look of the place. Ooh, the Ark of the Covenant. Now that's something that we could use today. I love this one right here too. That is beautiful. Good night, you guys. I am done. We're just gonna run the clock down looking at some artwork. And I believe this was made with a ballpoint pen. I don't know who the artist is, but I think that was made with a pen. I don't recall. Yeah, Iris, wherever you can get it, find something you like, put it in your home. Put it in your home. I have some reproductions of some of the classic artworks, um, including a statue of David. I have a Mona Lisa. You know, some of the classics that I just like. I have some Afrocentric stuff. Um, I've had some things professionally framed, stuff that I just like to look at. I like to surround myself with those things that I like. And of course, this was taken by a photographer. I don't know who the guy is, but this was also taken. Well, this is a photograph. And I believe this is the same gentleman right here. So yeah, if you find some photos or if you can download some photos or something like that, you can have them printed at one of those places where they, professionally print them and put them on the canvas for you. That's a great idea. Anything that you like, have them put it on a canvas, hang it in your home. And of course, these ladies right here. Thank you, Cookies and Cream. Yes, let's keep praying for the Sussexes. And I love the one on the left side. That is so cool. The the earth tones, right? The tan and the blue mixed in with all of that great shading effect like that. That is gorgeous. Brown, tan, blue. I'm seeing a little pink and just a hint of green here and there. Whoever did that, that is amazing. That the way they blended those colors is amazing. And I believe these guys are Berbers, right? Or are they African Arabs or Berbers or whatever? But when I see the turbans and I see someone black, I always think the Berbers. Like I know what the Berbers are, but I think that's a tribe, right? I mean, that is a great face. That is a great face. The guy on the right there, look at all that history and distinction in his eyes. That is a powerful face. And I forgot, what I do sometimes when I'm out and I see something that I like, I take a photo of it. And then when I get home, and I think this one right here, I probably took a photo of someone's artwork. And then when I get home, I start editing it. And even if the corners are kind of warped, I can adjust it so that it can be square again, right? If the lens give it that fisheye look, I can kind of warp it back into a square again. And that guy looks like who does he look like? He looks like oh god, Jesse Hubbard, right? The one that was on One Life to Live, right? Doesn't that look like old Jesse Hubbard? I forgot what the guy's name is, but he looks like the guy from One Life to Live. Anyway, I tried to match everything with a good background color so that it would kind of, you know, jump out at you. What is that guy's name? The one that played Jesse Hubbard. Oh, let me look it up. Jesse Hubbard. And then he was on something else. Oh, let me see. Jesse Hubbard was played by. Wow, he still looks good, you guys. He still looks good. Wow, he still looks good. Darnell Williams, All My Children. Was that his name, Darnell Williams? I guess it was. He was born in 1975, former professional lacrosse player. Oh, thank you, Vicky Stamps and Cookies and Cream. Wow, you guys look him up. He looks good. He looks so good. He must have been living well. He looks so good. I kid you not. Wow. Oh, yeah, that happened today, right, Black Queen? All right. And I don't know who the photographer or who the subject is, but yeah, I actually kind of pushed him over so that I don't know. But yeah, I kind of stretched out the image. And I guess this is the same guy. Yeah, that's the same guy there. Brown skin. You know I love your brown skin. Where are your people from? Have you been kissed by the sun? I forgot the words to this song. And this one I shared. I know this has got to be digital art. Still pretty, but that is digital art. And I think these are the last three. There's this one. I don't know who the artist is, but I like the photos, so I just saved them. And that is beautiful. That is so beautiful. I love this. Oh, I do have two more for you. So I thought it would be interesting to share some images of Africans in Europe as they were depicted by Europeans. And one of the things that they don't like to talk about is that there were a lot of black nobles that existed, like this one, Dutch painter Jan Monstart depicted a Moorish nobleman who was likely in a royal court of Margaret of Austria in Malines. Other Moors of high social status posed for German artist Albrecht Dürer um, in 1508 and 1521. While not much is known about the man, the woman's name was Katharina of Antwerp, Belgium, and is depicted with typically Moorish clothing of high regard, both of whom are depicted below. Other portraits of wealthy Moorish women, such as the one by student of Paolo Veronese, School of School in Venice, shown at the top of the page, depicts them dressed in more European style attire. So this one on the right is the portrait of, well, the only portrait of an African man, features in a unknown noble in the Austrian royal court by, anyway. So there you go. And Then we have this one. There you go. So I'm guessing this is a sketch. But the faith of Angelo Silliman, who achieved considerable fame as a princely Moor of the 18th century Vienna, is characteristic of the way enlightened society dealt with exotic or foreigns. In Central Europe, black skinned people were regarded as exotic, an ornamental accessory on the extravagant stage of the Rococo fashion. Solomon was born in Africa around 1720 and was shipped to Europe by slave traders as a child. He initially worked as a lackey in various aristocratic households, but soon displayed multiple talents and intellectual abilities, which won him favor in high society. Suleiman spoke several languages and was considered a brilliant chess player. In 1753, he entered the household of Prince Joseph Wenzel of Liechtenstein. Oh, you mean as in Princess Angela of Liechtenstein? Wow, so they seem to. Anyway, um, in the life of Angelo Suleiman, there was a number of points of contact with the House of Habsburg. In 1760, Suleiman accompanied his employer, Prince Liechtenstein, when the latter traveled to Italy as a proxy for Joseph II, escorting Isabella of Parma, the emperor's future bride, to Vienna for the wedding. He is therefore portrayed in a painting recording the bride's entry into the city, a work that is part of his it's part of a series depicting the wedding celebration that still hangs in the Schönbrunn, that is the summer palace in Vienna, Austria. The Schönbrunn. Um, he can be seen striding directly beside the Liechtenstein coach, dressed in strange Oriental costume. Oh, let me show you guys. I have a picture of it right here. There he is, right there by the wagon wheel. See the guy? It almost looks like a way to look like they got him tied to the wagon wheel. But see the bottom carriage? That's him right there. He can be seen striding beside the Liechtenstein coach, dressed in strange Oriental costume, which was probably intended to emphasize his exotic nature. And despite his high social esteem, he enjoyed to present him. They still presented him as a showpiece. Lord have mercy. Suleiman was also valued by Joseph II as a highly cultured conversational partner. His intimacy with the emperors subsequently caused him problems when the latter, um, through the unintentional indiscretions, portrayed uh, to Suleiman's employer his secret marriage to Magdalena von Kellerman in 1768. The prince, who was required absolute obedience of his servant, even regarded their private life, did not forgive Suleiman his unauthorized act and cast him out. It sounds like a lover's quarrel, doesn't it? That sounds like a lover's quarrel. The emperor did not like the idea that Suleiman got married. That sounds so much like a Willie Leaks issue, doesn't it? Okay, so he was in high regard. No wonder they depict him holding a black rod. That is so bad, ain't it? That is so bad. Wait, I'm trying to go back to the other photo. I'm trying to go back to the other photo. There it is. No wonder they depict him holding a black rod. Oh, now I understand. Yes, poor Suleiman was being passed around. Yep, they were passing poor Suleiman around. Yep. Well, at least they created an artwork that depicted him how they remembered him, and that's holding thy rod, thy staff. Okay, this is the absolute last artwork. This one right here, and I did show this before a long time ago, but this one is. Let me see. Oh, I forgot what the name. I think it's called the Black Nobleman or something like that. But anyway, as you can see, there are some people that are depicted as servants or slaves in this image. But if you notice the horse on the right side, see the one that has the red cross on his shoulder? That is a black nobleman. And that's what makes this painting so unusual is the fact that it's one of the first ones that depicted a person of African descent in what I believe is Portugal. And you can see, and that's not to say that there were not many before him, but this is the first time that there was an artwork that depicted a African in regal attire. So that's what makes it so different. It says some Moors had converted to Christianity in the Iberian Peninsula, which of course means Portugal and Spain, in the 1500s, also became prominent figures in society, as shown in the painting that depicts a busy scene in Lisbon's Alfama Harbor. The black man mounted on horse in the foreground appears to be of the highest social status of any in the scene. The red cross on his cape most likely represents membership in the Order of Santiago or St. James of the Sword, an Iberian military knighthood that adopted the symbol dating back to the 12th century AD. And it is indeed documented that several Africans had become had been admitted to the order, including Luis Perez in 1550, D. Pedro de Silva in 1579, and João de Sa Panasco, who was described in 1547 royal court documents as Homen Preto Cavalario del Mina Casa, or Black Man Knight from My House. Yeah, Black Man Knight from My House. And that was back in 1547. So, anyway, that is why this painting is so important, is because, uh, as we know, the Moors actually conquered the Iberian Peninsula, and for 700 years, there were black people that ruled over white people in Europe, and that is part of the history of Spain and Lisbon, and of course Catalan, and all. Of course, Spain is a whole bunch of kingdoms that has become one. All of those kingdoms became Spain, except for Portugal remained independent of Spain, and so the most powerful and the wealthiest European country at the time was, of course, what later became known as Spain, but that was ruled over by the Moors for 700 years. 700 years the Moors were ruling over the Iberian Peninsula. So that is our history lesson for the night. Thank you so much. Yes, Reba Henderson. Moors are from Morocco, Africa. Well, the thing is, the complexion, if you will, the race of every place from Egypt, Algeria, Libya, Morocco, places that were more, you know, darker, blacker, more, more. Um, yeah, there you go, more. Over the years, racially, they have become very different. And so a lot of the very African people that were part of, let's say, Egypt, the, gosh, where are those? Which people were that? Oh, gosh, I forget but anyway, things have gotten lighter. That's what I'm trying to say. So that is the reason why the subject in this painting is painted as dark as he is, because okay, over time it's probably gotten darker, but back in those days they were more like sub-Saharan Africans than they would appear to be today, where they seem more, you know, they're more, they're different. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. They're very different in appearance from what they were back in those days. So a lot of people that look at the Egyptians and see them, um, can tell you that they look very different from the ones that are depicted in the ancient ruins and temples and such. The hieroglyphs, they didn't just get darker over time, they were already dark. I'm sorry, what's going on? What did I miss? Yes, they do still exist. Absolutely. That we just don't see them on TV. We just don't see them on TV. I can tell you right now, Anwar Sadat's hair was just as kinky as mine. Anwar Sadat, his hair was just as kinky as mine. Mm. Yeah, the unfortunately, the victor is the one who usually writes the history. That is one of the lessons of history: is whoever wins, they're the ones that write the history. And this is the reason why Princess Diana has been vilified, because she's not here to defend herself. That's exactly what happened. And the two so-called lovebirds that were always meant to be together, they have worked very hard and very long to write Diana off as irrational and mentally ill and all that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, one of her children is helping them do it. I could never ever forgive him for that. But one of her children is actually helping those people cast her in a very, very dim light. Mm. Oh, that. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Where is she? We have not seen her for a while. Absolutely. Sorry about that. And I'm sitting here like, what? What did I miss? Ah, okay. Yeah, we got to get her up here. There we go. There you go. If you want it, you got it. If you want it, baby, Just bust a move. I'm doing the snake. Okay. Um, all right, you guys. It's been a while since we've had 3.5 hours of whatever I've been talking about, but I'm fixing to go. I am fixing to go. So, as per usual, whenever you see our queens, it's time to go. And y'all know what that means. Thank you, moderators, for keeping this a safe space. And for some of y'all, think about me when you're dozing off at work tomorrow if you got to work. But it is a national holiday here in the US. So I hope you all have the day off. And thank you all for your very thoughtful and generous contributions. And of course, please do keep these Sussexes in your prayers. And also pray for all the squatties that are recovering from illness or having surgery soon. And of course, as it is Memorial Day, let's think about those that we have lost, those that cannot be here with us. But remember, it is for them that we are surviving and we are thriving and we're uplifting one another, right? It's in their memory that we have to make the world a better place. So that is what gives me purpose, is remembering those that have gone before me, the ancestors. I have to make sure the world is a better place. I feel like I owe it to them. So, all right. So thank you, everyone. That will be our last word for the day. And we will close with the Ginger Avenger.